I think Georgia can steamroll Clemson. I don't think Clemson's a bad football team. They've got my favorite trio. So does Georgia, by the way. Head coach, quarterback, offensive coordinator. Dabo Swinney, Cade Klubnik, Garrett Riley. On the other side, Kirby Smart, Carson Beck, Mike Bobo. Which of those three have proven to be more prolific in their college careers together so far? Yeah, that would be Georgia. No surprise there. I think Carson Beck is the best quarterback in the country. I think he could be the first quarterback taken off the board in the 2025 NFL draft. I'm a big Carson Beck fan. And so when I look at what Georgia brings to the table here, yes, they are admittedly replacing a lot of new things. There is no Lad McConkey. There is no Powers. But boy, there's still a lot of talent in there. A couple transfers whose names you might need to know. Colby Young comes in from Miami. London Humphreys comes over from Vanderbilt. And Benjamin Jurasik. I am so excited, interested, maybe is a better word, whatever you like, to see what Benjamin Jurasik is in this Georgia offense, because nobody is Brock Bowers. But there are only a handful of tight ends in all of college football. And from what I've heard and read, Benjamin Jurasik might not be the number one tight end in Georgia's room. I'm just telling you, if they want to run some of the same concepts in plays that were seemingly unique to Brock Bowers with a tight end, Benjamin Jurasik can do those sorts of things. He is a crazy good athlete. He was a pretty highly touted recruit coming out of high school. He went to a school in Stanford that is known for producing high-end tight ends. Remember, it's Iowa number one. It is Stanford number two. Once upon a time, Stanford was the number one tight end producing school in all of college football. You think about Zach Ertz. You think about Colby Fleener, Laverne Toilolo. Like, there have been a lot of great Stanford tight ends that have rolled through Palo Alto in the years. And Benjamin Jurasik was going to be the next one. It's just their rebuild timeline is going to take a little bit longer because they can't use the transfer portal. Well, guys can transfer out of Stanford at will, and Jurasik's found his way to Georgia. So when you talk about Georgia, the biggest question that the Bulldogs have going into this game, how are all of their weapons going to mesh? The reason that I feel confident is I would much rather replace weapons for a quarterback to build chemistry with than I would return weapons and replace a quarterback. Because it's a lot easier for a quarterback to make receivers better and to incorporate them into the offense very smoothly and easily than it is for a quarterback to make his way into the offense, than it is for a quarterback to make the adjustment there. Certainly there's an adjustment. And Georgia's offense in week one, or maybe even half one, against what should be a capable Clemson defense, it might not be firing on every single cylinder. But when you give me one of the best teams in the trenches on both sides of the ball, when you give me maybe the best quarterback, the one that I certainly like the most in all of college football, and capable proven weapons that are coming in, I think this is a plug-and-play situation. I think it is plug and play. And one of the reasons I am so bullishly high on Georgia, and I'm not tired of Georgia. I never got tired of Alabama per se, because I looked at them and thought, wish my team was that. Wish my team was that good. Wish my team recruited at that level. That's what a lot of people say. It's what they think. They just don't necessarily want to admit it. But because they want to be, against the dynasty in the sport, and you do whatever you like. But I think Georgia's winning the national championship. I think they're going to handle Clemson. It could be close for a quarter, maybe a quarter and a half, until Georgia finds its footing. But if Georgia finds its footing, not just in this game, but any game throughout the entire season, nobody can touch them. Nobody, not even Ohio State. If you give me a grudge match between Ohio State and Georgia, sure, there's a world where it is fun. But Carson Beck versus Will Howard, there's a gap there. There is a gap. The last time Ohio State and Georgia met a couple of years ago, it was C.J. Stroud against Stetson Bennett. Wasn't much of a gap. And what do you know? It came down to a 50-yard field goal that Ohio State hooked, or the Buckeyes get to throttle TCU in the national championship game. So when I look at this Georgia team, they are the most complete team on paper. They've got the defense, they've got the coach, they've got the quarterback, and perhaps the reason I like them the most, they've got the motivation. I mean, if they'd been in the playoff last year, they could have won. Michigan might have still won the national championship. I think Michigan was at that sort of level. But you seen Georgia play football when they're at their best? When Alabama was at their best, think the last national championship they won in 2020, when their offense was just too good. You looked up and you went, they were just too good. They played, I think it was Notre Dame in the playoff game and beat them pretty soundly. It was a really good Notre Dame team. Guess what? Bama's just better. That's where Georgia's at, with the way they recruit, with how good Kirby Smart is as a head coach. And Mike Bobo's proven to be a good offensive coordinator. Yeah, it wasn't perfect in the SEC championship game. Oh, that's right. He's going up against Nick freaking Saban, who, can I just say as a pundit, is chef's kiss. I have liked him in that analyst chair from the moment he stepped away from college football. I said it here on the show. I thought he'd be utterly fantastic. Having his voice around the sport is great. I'm here for it. I'm here for Bill Belichick being an analyst in the NFL. I'm here for Nick Saban being an analyst in college football. Now, how does Clemson keep this close? And one reason that I'm confident in Georgia is this right here. The way that Clemson keeps this game close is if they get out of Cade Klubnik what they have not consistently seen from him on the field. The problem is you're going to try to do that against Georgia, and that's, wait for it, really hard. That's going to be really, really hard to do. And so you have to find quarterback play that takes care of the football and is efficient and productive. You don't need to go crazy and be unbelievable. This Clemson roster is not the least equipped to go up against Georgia. 24/7 Sports has it as one of the 5 best in their talent composite rankings in the entire country. Still a gap. Vegas is still favoring Georgia by 2 touchdowns here for a reason. And when you have a quarterback that's turnover prone, Kirby Smart can eat you alive. I have seen this a lot. We could be seeing it again. Or maybe Garrett Riley and the Tigers have got the adjustment. Maybe the weapons that they have are in fact good enough to beat the Georgia secondary. Maybe the trench play is there. But I think it comes down to the quarterback. If you get Cade Klubnik rattled early, we've seen Kirby Smart do this to a lot of quarterbacks over the years. It'll look like Drew Aller against Ohio State. It'll look like Bo Nix a couple years ago against Georgia, where you go, oh, hey, he's got, nope, that's just Kirby Smart being better. So have to get Cade Klubnik to play his best and take care of the football. You get a couple turnovers in there, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Good night. Nice to see you. But I am excited to watch this game.